right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Opening it up once again for another great AMA here at Gollum's Gyms. And we'll soon be joined by one of the hottest projects in the space as we get a chance to chat with the team behind SquidGrow, who are absolutely defining how to build a community as they continue to defy odds on their growth in every single way. But before we do, I got to announce the massive opportunity on today's show with one BNB being given out to 2 lucky random listeners throughout at 0.5 BNB each, as well as a special 5 BNB biggest buy competition that is live from right now until 9 p.m. UTC, with the top 3 biggest buys of the hour walking away with some huge prizes. The only thing you need to do is to hold for 24 hours to be eligible. And just as a quick reminder, to be eligible for these awesome opportunities, these giveaways, you simply need to be a member of the SquidGrow Telegram, which can be accessed after completing the CAPTCHA at SquidGrow portal entry. Also, make sure you're a member of at Gollum's Gyms and at Gollum's Gyms Reviews, and you are now in it to win it. Don't forget, guys, you can send over your questions via direct message, and I will do my best to ask them on your behalf. Let's dive right into it. We got SquidGrow in the building. Shibtoshi, R-Dub, and Dane are going to be jumping on with us. Let me get you guys unmuted here. R-Dub, I see you. Let's see here. Dane, I got you as well. And Shibtoshi, of course, I got you. Get you unmuted. All right, guys, I think we got everybody unmuted. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Hey, guys, I'm super excited to chat about this one. You guys are going absolutely insane right now. For everybody who wants to check out this really cool website, shibgrow.wtf. You can also find it in their Telegram group. But from what I see, guys, wildly passionate community and team seemingly navigating all stages of developing the foundation of a very successful project. Experienced team behind them, killer looking website, utility live to support the efforts, and making some massive marketing moves. I mean, guys, I'll let you explain it a little bit better than I did. Where did this all start? Give us a little bit of a insight into yourselves, who's behind it, and where the genesis was.
Hi guys, so how's it going? I'm Shibtoshi. SquidGrow is my project. I got into the crypto space back in 2011. Bitcoin was my first crypto investment. I got involved with that for poker rooms, actually. At the time, I was into the whole casino thing. I had a group of friends that we'd all go to Vegas, do poker, and they got me into these online poker rooms, and our currency to get into that was Bitcoin. So that's kind of how I got into the crypto thing. I first heard about it back in 10, looked into it, didn't trust it much. Then I started hearing about some of my good friends talking about Bitcoin. So I looked into it a little more, dabbled in that. And then it just caught my interest. You know, it was just the movement that they were doing with Bitcoin was just pretty impressive to me. And I decided to jump into it. Kind of moving forward, since then I've been about all about crypto. So, Ethereum, I was all about that. And we all know the Shibtoshi story, behind Shib. Essentially touching base on that, I had a really good friend of mine that was into the into the stock market. And there was one day we were hanging out and he's bragging about his gains in the stock market. It was 30%. He had been up that year, and I was just kind of laughing at him about his gains that he was bragging about. So we started talking crypto, and that kind of put him on the crypto path. And it was him and 6 other friends of ours that actually found Shiba Inu. And I can't remember the exact room that they first heard about it, but my buddy was pestering me about SHIB for a couple hours before I relented. And after I found out what all 7 of my friends had invested, I thought it'd be funny to just buy more than them. And so I started buying into Shiba Inu and accumulating my bag. And it is one of the most life-changing investments I've ever done. Now, out of the 7 friends, 4 of us still hold SHIB. Only 2, myself and my other buddy, have not sold anything. The rest have pulled profits. But that was really an eye-opening experience for me, because when I first heard about SHIB, what really sold me on it is when I started looking at the community. I mean, it was just so strong. In the early days it was getting going, but it evolved into something amazing. I mean, everybody knows about the SHIB Army, and when I decided to launch my project, I wanted to kind of base it on the early days of SHIB, and the reason we decided to launch this project is anybody that's in the crypto space, hopefully you've not been impacted by shady devs or honeypots or any kind of rugs, but the majority of my friends have been impacted, myself included. And in the recent months, it's just been plagued on both chains, Ethereum and BSC, that you invest into a project and you really don't know if your money is going to be there in the morning. And it used to not be like that. 2 years ago, man, you could throw money into any project and you would make money and not have to worry about it disappearing. So after, more and more of my friends were getting affected by this, and including some people in my family, I started actually thinking about dropping my own project. I've always been an investor. I'm not a dev. So it was kind of a bigger task for me to try to figure this stuff out. And back in November 21 is when the SquidGrow contract was actually coded. I had a developer off of Code Mentor. It's a coding website based on ranking. And I found a very high-ranking developer to develop this contract for us. And before I dropped it, I kind of wanted to better understand it, so I took some Solidity classes. That's what the contract's written in, and was trying to actually understand it, but didn't have much help there. So then I was looking into how you actually deploy a contract, and during that time, that's when Squid Games actually came out, and I kind of put it on the shelf because I was late to the party. I didn't want to be a copycat of that, and we all know how that turned out. But originally, when I came up with SquidGrow, it was around the time that the Squid Games Netflix show was coming out, and there was so much hype on that, and I was wanting to capitalize on that. Meme coins, I love meme coins. I also love utility coins, but meme coins is where I've made so much money in this space, and that's kind of what I wanted to be involved with. So fast forward, I put the whole project launching on the shelf, and I was in a whale room, and then I got invited to a secondary private whale room, and that's when I met RDub, and him and I got to talking over months about the crypto space, the sentiment in it, what it would essentially take to kind of change the negativity that's in this space. And that's when I told him, I've got a contract done already. This is the name of it. I have the logos already ready to go. If we want to actually try to push change, we can run with this. And that's what we decided to do. We dropped our first contract on the 17th of June. Unfortunately, that contract was coded with the Uniswap router. So we ran into immediate issues, which we had to shut down trading. Dropped a new contract 24 hours later, airdropped all 85 of our original investors' tokens, and went from there. Our initial launching market cap when we transferred liquidity was $35,000. And currently right now we're at 6.7 million.
85 holders back then. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's weird when there's a number value assigned to that key moment early in the project. And it's man, what a growth. 85 to where are you guys at now holder wise?
Give me 1 second. I'll pull that up for you. Right now we have, let me pull up the BSC.
It's a lot, man. It's grown fast.
It's grown substantially. Right now we're at 5,725 holders.
Insane.
Yeah, and that's not
insane.
That's not like artificially inflated holders either. That's real holders. They're not doing the freaking dust thing where they send out dust wallets or anything like that. That's legit people in there. So it's good to see them.
I mean, you guys aren't cutting any corners. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. Like when I look through the pins, when I look through kind of your trajectory and how you guys have approached just community and project management as a whole, I mean, you guys are doing everything just at, not at a slow pace, but at your own pace. You know, like when the product is ready, when the community is ready, things develop a little bit further, and it almost feels like just a perfect sequence of events to get you where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to do the whole organic thing, which is what we've been achieving, and we're turning down help from other projects because um, here at SquidGrow, we want to be able to do it ourselves, on our own, and we don't want anybody to be able to take away anything that we've achieved by saying, "Oh, it's only because you partnered with this project or you took help from this project." We're developing everything on our own in-house. We do have a CEO of an exchange on the team. He's in the background. He's been very beneficial to the project. He actually develops all of our utilities. So it's really because of the team behind the scenes that we're able to develop on the pace that we're currently on, and we really truly are just getting going. Within the first 2 weeks, we had, staking and LP staking. And within the first 3 weeks, we were listed on 2 exchanges, BKEX and Bitmark. And, that's all before CMC. We're just kind of trucking along at a pretty good pace, and our community is just, they're just such a big support. It's deja vu for me, really. It's like, reminds me of Shiba Inu, like the early days. I mean, they're going out there and spreading awareness of the project and bringing in new members into the group. And with those members, some new investors. I mean, they're really, without them, I don't think we would be where we're at currently right now. I mean, it's really a community effort. And what we're trying to do here is build a strong community foundation, which is what we are doing. It's just very humbling to me and the team, that we've got such diamond-handed holders. And it's funny because as we just found out the other day, one of our very early guys in the TG, he was kind of a soft futter. And, he's got a personality about him. But unbeknownst to us, we just found out a couple days ago, he's actually a big whale in our project. And, he's definitely a personality in our TG, so I say that to say, I really feel like we're converting people from, paper hands to diamond hands. If you look at our chart, yeah, we've had some sell-offs. We got some whales in that wanted to pull quick X's and get out, but the vast majority of our community, man, they are just holding tough. And it's just, it's allowed us to achieve it.
Yeah. I'm loving this chart on how you can just kind of see, I know it doesn't tell the whole story, but it certainly does tell a story, just in terms of overcoming and everything else, in terms of just being a month old, you can just kind of see the path traveled and the excitement, you can kind of feel the excitement on each of the growth patterns. But incredible stuff. Now, when it comes to obviously community is the reason why, and you guys as well too. What do you attribute most about the community? What are they? What I'm trying to figure out how to ask it. What is the community doing to make it so impactful? Obviously they're shilling, they're spreading the word. Is it their relentlessness, or what do you attribute to being the biggest definer of the success?
It's just really the community just hitting it every day, all day, man. If you look at our TG, they are just constantly doing raids on Twitter and different communities. They are just relentless. They're getting interactions with some big Twitter guys, about our project. We've got big Twitter influencers engaging with the community, asking questions about the project. They are just, they're relentless with it, and not in an annoying way, just spreading the awareness of the project, putting it out there, putting the story out there. And yep.
So another thing I noticed too is that the community is a lot of veterans. There's a lot of veteran BSC guys that are in that chat. that are bullish on a project. And it's not something you're seeing lately, obviously, because of the market conditions, but it's something that SquidGrow has managed to do. It's managed to create a community in the past month when you almost just don't see that happening at all. A lot of projects are just coming and going because of how brutal it has been. Yet we've got this people that are just extremely bullish. You go in there, you say something bad, and you'll have 10 people correct you in a minute. Like it's an army that's forming, and it's really cool to see in a time like this.
So no more FUD for the entry,
Definitely.
right? You got too much support in the community.
You'll see it occasionally, but like Dane said, if there's any FUD in there, it's quickly corrected. If there's any questions that are asked and somebody from the team's not around, 20 community members will answer the question, if not more. So I mean, everybody's definitely on board. It's just
that's next level. You can't buy that in any sort of marketing. That's just next level stuff that is obviously it's grown from the team. It's a mentality that you guys put out there. And I guess speaking of mentality, I see under promise, over deliver in the white paper. Now you guys have come to the table with some utility. Do you kind of want to run down what you guys have available right now?
Yeah, so currently right now, this is going into our second month. We have native coin staking at a 50% APY, and we offer LP staking at 500% APY also. And we did just recently do something that we haven't done before. We kind of announced an upcoming utility that is essentially already done but not quite launched, and that was kind of something that we were kind of hesitant to do, but I definitely wanted to bring it to the community and our whales to get feedback on it. So that announcement was the Ethereum bridge. We will be bridging to Ethereum, and definitely wanted feedback on that, in regards to, do we decide to go with the traditional bridge, with separate liquidity on the Uniswap side, separate supply amount, or do we use one of these newer bridge styles where they use a single total supply and essentially you bridge over from one side and then mint new tokens on the other. So we brought that to the community, talked to the whales about it. We're not fully decided yet how we're going to move forward with what we decide to do, but I'm really leaning towards just the traditional bridge where new contract on the east side, new liquidity on the east side, and you bridge over. You can bridge back and forth.
I mean, I love it. Always essential. With what that taps into on the Ethereum side, I gotta imagine that's going to be a huge play. Just having so many familiar faces and so many, like you said, veterans already in the group. That's going to be a big play for you guys. What was the feedback from the whale group?
After we explained it to him, kind of like the biggest question was, is the market cap going to be the same on the Ethereum side? The obvious answer is yes, it will be the same. There might be some possibility for arbitraging. So, those that didn't understand that, we explained it to them. But I mean, everybody has just been super excited. And actually, I plan to provide initial liquidity out of pocket on the Ethereum side, but we're actually getting a lot of whales that want us to do some kind of private sale so they can get in early on that side. And it's not something that we've decided on yet, but I mean, just the excitement, that we have received from the announcement, man. I mean, it was exactly what I was hoping for. We originally announced it in the main VC in the community, and we had some questions about it. There were some concerns, definitely some opinions, and the guys that had those opinions, I asked them to personally DM me so we could talk about it, and they recommended some things, so I looked into those things, and I still feel like the best course of action for my community is just the OG bridge. like I stated. But I mean, it
There's
was
some advantages of that, man. Like there really is some advantages of that that people may not know when it comes to bridging to ETH. The obvious one is that you've got ETH 2 coming, so the timing of it could be impeccable as far as like the bullishness of that token at the time. And but there's some hidden ones as well. Essentially, like you're staking, right? Like if you get an ETH token and you launch a new token, you can set aside some tokens for staking rewards and not have to dig into your treasury, basically. And then those can be as well used for exchanges as well, because we've got big plans to list on bigger exchanges, of course, and that will be a big thing, is getting the liquidity and the tokens required to go on there and create those liquidity pools. But I mean, not only that, just think about the whales that know Satoshi from SHIB, right? They're all mostly on ETH. So, you open up that pathway to those ETH guys and some of the old money there that's been there for, more than the past year. And I really do think that if you just get that word out there about this becoming cross-chain, that it'll explode that much more. You've got to realize, like, this is pumping in a brutal market to 7 million with only BSC side. Like, I can't imagine what's going to happen when they open it up to ETH. But with that said, there's a lot of stuff you have to take into consideration with the bridge. So it's really good that the whales and Shibtoshi are having this conversation, because security is paramount, and making sure that things are done the exact way it's necessary, as meticulously as possible, will minimize the risk and make sure that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a pretty stacked team when it comes to the development side. Now, is everything going to be done in-house? I know that you said you had the CEO of an exchange on who's been helping you out. Is everything from the bridge to future utilities, are you guys building everything in-house, or are you outsourcing it?
everything essentially in house within the people that are on the team. Essentially, the CEO, the devs that he has on his project are our devs in the background. So they're trusted. I trust them. And, everything's developed in house for that reason. When it comes to utilities, you've got to be really careful when you're involving your investors' money, such as like a bridge. Yeah, many places can build a bridge for much cheaper, but you have to trust the security of that bridge. And that's why I'm only using my trusted guys for utilities and future utilities. So to answer your question, yes, everything's in house, and that was something that was very important to me. I wanted everything developed with SquidGrow to be in house. I don't want anybody to say we're cutting a corner or we're taking help from another project or another development team in some way. I don't want anybody to try to rob my community of the greatness that they are bringing to the project. And at the end of the day, we can sit back and say, we've developed everything from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to do. Plus, you have control over it, right? You have ultimate control of future updates, of developing on it further, using it as a foundation for a bigger utility, possibly. So many different benefits come from doing it in-house, and I love to hear that you guys are there.
Yeah,
So obviously
correct.
the staking is there. The bridge is coming, just announced. Now, I also see a lottery. Can you give me any insight on the lottery?
Yeah, I'll give you some insight on the lottery. So the lottery is currently disabled. And the reason why it was disabled, we discovered a vulnerability in the contract for the lottery. About 11 of our investors were affected. It took me, I believe it was 2 days to track down the vulnerability. So within 2 days, I had the people that were affected by the lottery. So touching on that, the lottery is the one thing that we did not develop in house, and it's been a thorn in my side since. So we got the lottery contract, obviously as a fork of the Pancake Swap lottery from a very trusted source. And there was some malicious coding in there, and it affected 11 of our investors. So after we tracked those investors down, I put them in a group. And after verifying that it was the lottery, we shut it down, and I personally reimbursed anybody that took any loss from that. It was a little over $20,000 that was lost. And to essentially,
it's
Go
sorry,
ahead, Arda.
Shibtoshi. I was just going to say as well, it's important to note that this lottery vulnerability, it wasn't just isolated to SquidGrow. So there was a number of projects across the BSC. I think there was about 30 projects all up. And the common denominator with these 30 projects was that they all had a lottery contract, a similar lottery contract. So at the same time, all 30 of these projects, including SquidGrow, were subject to this vulnerability. Unfortunately, a lot of these other projects across the BSC lost, in their lottery, they were using things like stablecoin, BUSD, and some of these projects actually lost millions and millions of dollars. So the company that built the lottery is attempting to, reimburse some of those projects as well. But SquidGrow wanted to go ahead and deal with the problem as quickly as possible, which is why Shibtoshi and myself, we got everyone in the room straight away. We found the vulnerability. We worked out exactly how many tokens people had lost, and we reimbursed them. And that's also why we've moved on from ever outsourcing any of our utilities moving forward as well.
That's certainly something that sticks with you and impacts your decision making in the future. And now I understand why a little bit more on why you guys were so keen to do everything in house from here on out.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a situation where we stepped outside of what we originally set out to do, and we outsourced, and we purchased a outsourced contract that had been used many times, and there was a vulnerability in it, and that's why moving forward, any and all of our utilities are going to be audited before they actually go live.
I love that, man. I love that standard.
But again, it was just it was a reflection of the community, like when something like this goes down in a project, often it can cause a lot of FUD, a lot of questions and a lot of distrust. But I think the way that it was managed and handled, and how quickly it was managed and handled as well, there was really no FUD that I can even remember. And I think that is, a real testament to the community that has been built here at SquidGrow as well.
100%. When you look at the chart, going back to what we were talking about it kind of painting a story. I mean, was there ever any point at this in the early stages, big sell-offs, anything like that, where you guys questioned, is this one going to make it? Or did you guys always know the plan going forward? Like, we're going to push through, if it's on fire or not, we're still pushing kind of a deal. I mean, was that the game plan from day one?
Yeah, it was. No matter the amount of sell-offs that we've had, obviously, I initiate buybacks periodically, unannounced. So every major sell-off, we initiate a buyback. I've done over $90,000 in buybacks to date so far, but there was no way I was going to have any group of investors ruin my project for the rest of the community. We are really setting out to change the sentiment in the space, and I'm not going down. I'm not going to let any kind of group of investors just destroy what it is that we are achieving here.
I mean, yeah, you look back at earlier parts of the chart, and they seem like such a significant piece in that moment, right? But then, fast forward a few weeks later, and the chart's in a whole new stratosphere, right? And you look back at those little sell-offs that you were stressing on way back in the day, it seems like, and they were really insignificant in the big picture. But that's super cool. The mentality behind you guys is awesome. And so when it comes to like the core team day to day, right? How efficiently do you guys move together, delegate responsibilities and roles to each other? Like, is everybody kind of set in their lane and just everybody trust the other person to get the job done?
We're working long hours every day, and we definitely share workloads. We definitely, things that need to be done and tasks, we definitely split those up. We work pretty much side by side. It's not that he's got certain tasks that he has to do, and I've got certain tasks that I have to do. We're definitely splitting those up, and we got some some PAs that also help as well. So if we are trying to achieve a certain amount of tasks in a day, and we don't think that we'll be able to achieve it, we'll pass some of the stuff off to one of our PAs to help handle as well. And then obviously we go back and we check it before we consider it done, but we're definitely spreading the workload around. Our Dub's in Australia, I'm in the US, and our sleep schedule is about the same. I'm going to bed in between 5 to 7 in the morning every day and getting up and doing it again. But I'm loving every second of it, man. I mean, we're working very well together.
Definitely.
I mean, so that's amazing to hear. It sounds like everybody's just kind of, wearing multiple hats, which is typically where it happens. Now, do you guys when it comes to scaling, right, you're going to hit those 10 million, 20 million, 50 million market cap, like milestones and adding more people seemingly onto the core team, I imagine. Are you guys going to be looking to define those roles in the future?
Yeah, definitely. So, did you want to go, Shibtoshi?
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as we are growing, we have found that we have needed to put more and more staff on. And I guess that kind of brings us into why Dane is here as well. We've recently announced a partnership with the Blockchain Brothers, and I might let Dane just kind of introduce himself a little bit around that as well.
Yeah, sure. So before I do, I have to say, in regards to your question, like the core team that I see, as well as the whales and the people that are admitting the project, the mods and everybody, are extremely strong, and I'm happy to have become a part of it. But yes, about 2 weeks ago, we partnered with SquidGrow, and it has been awesome. We've basically opened up our full marketing suite to them, and they've been running with it, and it's a pleasure to work with a team that understands how to move at crypto speed and has the work ethic that they do, because it's just constant. Like I wake up and I see like there's 5 pinned messages in their chat. Like they're constantly going and going and going. So the core team that do have already is extremely efficient. But a little bit about myself and why we partnered. So you may know me from Catcoin. I'm the marketing team as well as ISO behind their success to 70 million. I also worked with Floki and Hokkaido and Kishu. So meme coins are my thing. And we're basically just sort of helping them guide their marketing efforts so that they're not directed inefficiently, and the things that are spent on things that actually help them in both the short and the long term. And we kind of look at around the project to see if there's anything that's sort of rough around the edges that we can clean up. Just kind of taking a different view on things from an outsider's perspective and helping them grow. Much different than a typical marketing firm that will offer you a basic package for a set amount of money and we'll do things week to week. We're in there 16 to 20 hours a day, helping them figure out what's next and also how to respond to certain situations, that the crypto market can present with its volatility and with its nastiness. Perfect example is the lottery, right? Like, how do we respond to that? And the way it was handled was perfect, as these guys explained. So I'm kind of just a marketing guy and very, very happy to be here. I'm one of the core team, but from my perspective, everything that I see is exactly what I want to see. And it actually reminds me of my time at Floki when it was just beginning, where you started to see these things kind of come together and click. And same thing recently with Catcoin. These meme coins, the thing they all had in common was what Shibtoshi referred to, the community. Like they all had that. You have to have that. It sounds kind of cliche because you hear it all the time and everybody wants it. But when you really have it, you can tell. And I think that they're doing that. And for me, that's really exciting to see.
I mean, that's amazing to hear, Dane. And I'm happy for the project sake that you're on there. It seems like collectively between everybody in the whale group and on the core team, collectively, the experience is such a massive value in my eyes. And just like you were noting, just the ability to know how to pivot and move, when things like that present themselves, that's it's a huge value add in my eyes, more so than utility or anything else. I love experience in the space, and it seems like you guys came well packed on that front.
They certainly have plenty of it without even getting into, myself. And it's a privilege to see that and to work with that. And I think that, as Shibtoshi said, they're really just getting started from a marketing standpoint. The plans that they have coming, like, whew, man.
We gotta dive into that too. I see partnerships lining up. I see all sorts of stuff happen. Obviously, with you guys, Dane, and then I see other partnerships rolling out too. Do you kind of want to give us a rundown on what's, I guess, where you guys are at right now with partnerships and who's backing you?
Sure. Let's kind of work in tandem to answer this one, Shibtoshi. So before we do, I just want to say that this project is not one that likes to announce things ahead of time because we don't ever want to create the sense of false hype. For instance, if we announced the bridge, but we weren't actually going to do the bridge, that would eventually create a little bit of seeds of distrust. So that's something that's actually going to happen. And anything else with partnerships and marketing announcements and whatnot, we don't like to announce those until they're set in stone. So I do want to tread carefully here. But Shiptocha, I'll let you go ahead and take that one.
Yeah, so our latest announcement on partnership is we just partnered with Omar. I'm not sure if everybody here is familiar with Omar's group. He's the owner. Exactly, he's the owner of Solitaire Prestige, and we just locked in that partnership last night, and we just announced it in tandem with him at 8 p.m. UTC time. So that's kind of where we're at with our latest partnership. Also, something that hasn't been properly put out there yet. Reflex Finance actually just now listed us on their swap as well. That is also live. We're in talks about some other things that we can do down the road, but I don't really want to get too into depth on that. But yeah, I mean, really, the way that we're trying to operate is, under promise and over deliver. We're really just trying to surprise our community with different utilities and different partnerships, never really wanting to announce them because, in this space, nothing, in regards to, partnerships and stuff, something can always come up. So if we were to announce like a major utility coming or a partnership and there's a setback, it could bring negative sentiment, so we're definitely not announcing a whole lot until it's actually, go time, like our utilities. We didn't give our community any heads up on the staking or the LP staking. We just, when they went live, we announced it, with the, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so with regards to marketing, I mean, I can tell you what we have access to. I mean, any exchange, tier 3 to tier 1, we've got direct line of communication with their listing departments ready to go. We've got a full legal team. We've got, press releases galore, crypto influencers galore, celebrities, all that fun stuff. Those are types of things that when we want to explore them, we can make it happen with the click of a button pretty quickly. And so it's just a matter of when we want to roll those out in an efficient and timely manner. But I think that it's safe to say that you can expect many of those things. And, with my company, Blockchain Brothers, we've opened the doors fully to all those things and more. Graphics team, development team, all that good stuff that you want a project to have, and very quickly. So, I don't want to say anything in particular that we have coming when it comes to the marketing, but that's kind of your categories to think about. Maybe that gives you guys an idea of what's coming, but yeah, it's going to be a fun road ahead for sure.
We have a lot at our disposal.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Obviously, a ton of great connections between everybody. Obviously, the sky's the limit on that front. And something I realized that we didn't even talk about yet. Do you guys plan on integrating any new developments from the actual Squid Game series when they start bouncing off their new seasons and whatnot, and there's updates to the actual series itself? Are you guys going to kind of align your efforts with those?
Shibtosh, do you want me to touch on that or keep that kind of under wraps?
You can touch on it loosely.
So at the very least, what we want to do with future exchanges is penetrate into the Korean market. That's where the show originated, of course. So we really want to tap into that, as well as the Asian market in general. If anyone actually watched the show, most likely you watched it with English, English captions, and realized that it was not an English show. So we want to tap into that area where it came from, of course. And one of the best ways to do that is potentially to reach out to the team there, the actors and people like that. So maybe that's something that we'll tap into if it's possible. But for sure, we want to get into that Asian market and that Korean market more. So I think that's something you'll have to look forward to with the show in regards to that.
Under promise, over deliver. I love it, guys. I love it. I think it's amazing for the community too. I think it keeps everybody on their toes. It keeps them focused on the overall mission, which is spreading the word, right?
You know,
Exactly.
we did recently update the website, so there is an option for Chinese language and Korean language on the website as well. You know, kind of get ready for when we decide to cross that that bridge to that side of the market.
100%,
Right.
guys. I see a lot of good questions coming in about some of the subjects that we're talking about, but obviously I wanted to give you guys the floor to kind of go through some of the basics about it if people weren't familiar with the project yet. One more time, guys, there is a 5BNB biggest buy competition. I did want to throw that out there one more time. It's going until 9 p.m. UTC, so still about 19 minutes left. But I guess going back into it, was there anything else that you guys, I guess, wanted to add on, wanted to note or highlight before I started throwing some community questions at you?
You guys, anything?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Will you repeat, please?
Yeah, I was just saying, community. I just see a bunch of questions coming in community wise, and I wanted to give you guys the floor if you guys wanted to note or highlight anything else before I started throwing these at you.
RW, you have anything?
Look, I think we've kind of covered the brunt of most of what we wanted to cover, really. Like, I mean, SquidGrow, it kind of speaks for itself, really. Like, if you take a look at the chart, if you hop into the Telegram and get amongst the community, you can really see what's happening here, and take yourself through the pinned messages, and you can see how we operate with the community. Going back to the partnerships and stuff like that. Although, because of the way we operate, we don't, drop teasers on things that we're about to do. But I can just say that there are constantly always things happening in the background all the way up until even the last few hours. The community had no idea that we had any plans for, huge marketing partnerships. And then we kind of just dropped this thing about Omar and the Solitaire Prestige on them. But look, really, I just encourage everyone to kind of jump into the Telegram, hop on the website, even send DMs through to myself and Shiptoshi. But other than that, if Dane or Shiptoshi wanted to touch on anything else, I think we'd be ready for some community questions.
Oh, one thing I did want to have you guys highlight, which exchanges are you on right now?
We're currently listed on Bitmark and BKEX.
And
Okay,
mutual partnership with CLS, which is one of the top 3 biggest market making companies in existence. So they're officially publicly partnered with CLS. And CLS, for anybody who doesn't know, what they do with market making, when you get onto a big exchange, not your cheap ones like kind of that just do bots, but like a bigger exchange, like a tier 2 or tier 1, you have to have market making because it keeps the order books full, so that if someone decides to sell or buy a bunch of tokens, there's tokens there to sell. So you hire a third-party market-making service, so there's not a conflict of interest, and you typically hire a really good one if possible. In this case, we have, and that keeps things stable, as well as the liquidity, the order depth, all really good on CMC, so that it's trusted. And that's a big indicator of what's to come, in my opinion. When you see a project, going with like Purple or Wintermute or CLS in our case, it's typically a foreshadowing of what's to come, and I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. I like that, man. I like that, Dane. That's a good way to get people excited with not really knowing what's coming. So kudos to you on that front. I did see an easy one to start us off with, guys. I see number 17 came in with, does Shibtoshi plan to bring the same spark to SquidGrow like he saw in Shiba Inu? And if so, how do you plan on doing it?
Yes, I'll answer that question. So, yes, I do. So, essentially, everybody knows the story of Shiba Inu. They essentially took the Dogecoin formula and perfected it, in my opinion. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Shiba Inu was the driving force behind SHIB was the community and rallying the community to go out and spread awareness, and that's exactly what we are doing. As I stated earlier, I mean, it's kind of like a deja vu for me all over again. I mean, the SquidGrow army is just growing every day. So we are definitely, in my opinion, achieving that. We're on track to, deliver on that.
I love that, man. Mortgage Buster 123 came in with a good one. He says, "How would you convince an investor that they haven't already missed the boat?"
Oh, that's
Dane,
a good question.
Dane, you want to? Yeah, that's a very good question.
There's levels to projects. I think there's levels to projects. In my opinion, this is kind of what comes to mind. So you can sort of see them if you've been in the BSC space for a while. You'll see like little degen plays, like the ultra micro caps, like those. The goal for the project like that is just to get on maybe a few small call groups and get to 100K market cap and make some people a couple quick X's and with some smaller investments. And then there's another level where you start getting into like the low million, right? Or like maybe just touching it or kissing it. And that usually has like a more doxed team or like more respected or known team. But after a while, the marketing funds dry up and they sort of run out of power. The thing with SquidGrow that makes it a whole nother level is like some of the more successful projects of recent, like Quant and Cloud Chat, and some of these other bigger ones that we've seen come to the space in recent times in this tough market. What do they have in common? Well, they had a lot of firepower. And firepower, I mean, that's spending power, right? And that's a team that's relentless and has a big vision to see its project grow no matter what, as long as it takes for the Bitcoin market to flip. They'll be here. And so you have those factors all in line for SquidGrow. So, I mean, you could have said the same thing about Cloud Chat or about Quant when it was at 6 million. And you say, maybe I'm late. But then a week later, you wake up, it's on CMC, and it's pumping to 70 million or a billion even for Quant. And I think that SquidGrow certainly has that potential. Meme coins are not dead. They're flourishing more than ever. They're attracting a young generation of people. And you've got a meme coin based on Squid Game, the most popular show ever on Netflix history. And you've got things with that coming to fruition that haven't been, announced yet, most likely. So then, you just do the math there, right? Like Shiba was popular because it sort of rode Doge coattails. And that's kind of what happened. So why can't SquidGrow do the same and just ride like the most popular TV shows hype? I think it definitely can. And to have someone like Shibtoshi behind it who has the experience and the ethic that he has, as well as the team around us, you have all the makings of something that could absolutely explode like that. So I think, again, there's levels to it, and SquidGrow is a project that is at that top tier level, that it's in its early stages. So for me, I always like to buy dips, so I still look for dips to enter. But if you've been watching the chart over the last week or two, you notice that those dips are getting eaten, and that's really a good sign that it may be about to explode very soon.
Yeah, most definitely on that front. I mean, one talking about earlier, obviously, to me, good experience is like the number one value in my eyes when it comes to personally investing. I want to know that the team has the experience, right? When you guys take a step back and you look at what you can provide as the biggest value from a core team stance, do you feel the same way, or do you feel it's a different attribute?
Can you say that
Go ahead.
again? Sorry.
Yeah,
I was just saying, like for me, experience is really big. It's like a value for me personally as an investor. Now, when you guys look at it from a core team stance and what you can offer, to the community, to a potential investor, is it the experience, or is it is it transparency? Is it what attribute do you value? Do you think has the biggest value to your investors?
Look, I think I think that with any of these things, it's really a combination of a number of different things that all come together perfectly. And in this instance, I think it's really a combination of both the team, the background story behind this, and the community all coming together kind of perfectly as this like amazing recipe that is something that you really don't see in the space very often. And I think that's probably the best way that I could answer that question.
I see it as
I agree. Go ahead, Dane. Sorry.
I would say I see it as a combination, as well as what RDEP said, is many things. But the three that I see here so well is, as I mentioned, the ethic. These guys never stop. They're covering all time zones. The community is all 24/7 bullish, even in small dips. That doesn't change their mindset. And then you've got the transparency. Like the perfect example is the lottery. A lot of people may try to sweep that under the rug. There's been other instances too, leading up to where we are now. Teams have been extremely transparent about things that have happened, and that is a really, really big way to build trust with your most, your biggest investors, your whales, and new people coming in when they see that you're not hiding anything and you're open with everything. And so, yeah, the experience is a factor because it keeps you from making dumb mistakes or being taken advantage of, perhaps. But I think that the ethic and the transparency are really what sets these guys apart at the moment.
I would agree with both of those statements completely. Running my project, the way that I'm running it is from an investor standpoint. What would I want to see as an investor from a project? If there's minor setbacks, how would I want those handled? Would I want transparency in that, or would I want it, covered up? Well, obviously, with our morals here at SquidGrow, we align those with 100% transparency. So if there's ever been, an issue, we address it directly, from the beginning. We don't allow it to be brought up any other way. We bring it out, we address it, we speak on it, go into as much detail as need be, for transparency purposes. But our work ethic here at SquidGrow, I think is just substantial, pouring a lot of money into marketing. I'm funding everything out of pocket. Just trying to make all the moves that I would want to see as an investor, and that stems back to, under promise, over deliver. One of my biggest pet peeves as an investor in a project is you get into these projects that, promise you or announce that they're going to be doing this, and then that date gets pushed back, or it doesn't happen at all. From an investor standpoint, that's a real turnoff for me. If the project's telling me they're going to deliver something and it's not deliverable, it's really kind of a turnoff. So that kind of goes back to, why we under promise, over deliver, because there's always potential for, unforeseen setbacks in different areas or hangups. So that's kind of, why we're running the way that we are.
Yeah, 100%. You guys are overcoming, everything that's getting thrown your way, which is evident, man. And investor confidence is everything, both for investors. That confidence level always needs to be high. So I love the approach that you guys are taking on that front. I saw Jesse came in with a question about the differences between the staking. So can you explain a little bit more, maybe a little educational piece on why the LP staking is so much higher than the native token staking?
RW, do you want to address that, or you want me to handle it?
Look, yeah, I can speak on that if you like. So initially, when we came out with both of our staking pools, it was shortly after launch. So it was in our first week, and we had the native token staking and the LP staking. And at that time, when we released them, we had an APY of 200% on the native token staking and an APY of 400% on the LP staking. And the reason that we did that initially was, I guess, to reward our early diamond hand investors. And this was something that we were very transparent about from early on, but something that everybody knows if you have, ever been involved in a project in the background, especially with staking, is that these staking pools, the rewards have to come from somewhere. And in this instance, the rewards are coming from our reserve tokens. So we have to feed those pools, and we have to feed them every 30 days. So after the first, round of pools ended, which was after 30 days, we looked at how much of the supply we actually had staked. And overall, we had over 40% of our whole supply staked. So if you look at that, if you've got 40% of your supply staked and you've got an APY of 100%, that would mean that after 12 months, you have to put another 40% of your entire supply through the staking pools just to be able to keep up with those rewards. So basically what we did is we looked at how many people were staked in the native token staking pool and how many people were staked in the LP. And we had more people staked in the native token staking. So we just readjusted those APYs a little bit and incentivized people to jump into the LP staking, which is why currently the LP staking is at 500%, and we've had to drop the native token staking down to 50% just because so many people were loving and enjoying those rewards.
I think that was a great answer, guys. Yeah, that was a great answer. I'm going to see if he's got any further questions. I know, Dana, you had mentioned it earlier about the legal side, right? I mean, obviously, this is a blockchain project, a crypto project, but do you guys foresee having to use those legal sources at all to like defend, I guess, the name or in some capacity? I saw Greek came in with to avoid that.
Gollum, your last part of that sentence there cut out, but I caught the first part about the legal. Um, so the legal team is more so just to help them get, officially recognized. For example, to get on certain exchanges, you need a legal opinion that says you're not, in type of security, right? That you're an asset. That's a given. They also help with company registration, different jurisdictions, making sure everything's good, KYC, all that fun stuff that typically can cause headaches. Basically, we have access to a legal team now that's helping us with all that, so that we will have zero headaches when it comes to those things. And that's a big requirement as well for getting on exchanges, specifically in like the Australian or the USA jurisdiction. They require a lot of extra documentation. So it's important for them to go through that process so that those things can actually become possible. And the reason why you don't see a lot of BSC tokens or DeFi tokens in general going on those platforms is because they lack those documents. And so there's a lot of attorney stuff you have to deal with. And so when those referring to those legals, that's typically what we're talking about. I don't foresee us having to use them to like fend off any negative things. It's more so for a positive.
I like that, man. I like that. I think that's it's good to have the backing in any capacity, right? But I'd be really surprised if you needed to really arm yourself on the legal side for any sort of cease and desist letters. But who knows? This space is crazy. Great question so far, though, guys. Crypto Matt came in with one just asking about NFTs. Any future plans for NFTs with the project?
I think I think this comes back to, our motto and our ethos at SquidGrow, and really we don't talk about future plans until they're happening. As we've said many times here, under promise and over deliver. So look, it is not something that we can talk about right now. If at any point in the future we do decide to release NFTs, we will make it aware to our community when we're about to drop it. But unfortunately, it comes back to under promise and over deliver. It's really not something that we can touch on at this time.
I think that's fair. Let me see. And I love, by the way, I want to reinforce that. I absolutely love that mentality, guys. 1 minute left for the biggest buy competition. I just looked down at the clock, guys. 1 minute left. But make sure you ask any questions. Feel free to send them over. I can't see hands up, guys. Once it gets past like 500 or so, it starts getting a little bit buggy on me here from the host side. It won't let me unmute anybody. So feel free to send any last minute questions over. Let's see here. Zainab ended up sending a question in. The money for huge marketing development is available. So are you expecting a fully functioning ecosystem around the SquidGrow token and project?
I believe RDub just kind of touched base on that. And, we do have future plans, but that goes back to we really aren't disclosing what those future plans are. As I've stated earlier, a lot of unforeseen issues could arise. And we don't want to build hype around utilities for the future that aren't in existence yet.
But
I know you guys are keeping the cards close to the chest. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Let me see here. Jesse had one more clarifying question about the staking, guys. I just happened to see. He says, will the LP staking remain fixed or will it be regulated in concordance to the native staking APY?
Look, this is something that we will have to continue to evaluate and adjust as we continue to grow and move forward. It kind of comes back to my last answer, Jesse, in that it's all dependent on how many people are staking, how much of the supply is staked, and how much we actually have to feed those pools from our reserve tokens.
Okay, good. Adam came in with a good one. He says this one's for Shibtoshi. We know that your competitive streak is why you bought big into Shib. How did you manage to hold through all those X's?
It wasn't necessarily easy, but it came to a point that if I decided to pull the trigger on selling, it would really destroy a beautiful project. You know what I mean? Meme tokens, in my opinion, play a huge role in the crypto space. You know, I'm a very strong supporter of meme projects, and you know, it's just kind of one of those things. You know, I'm diamond handed, as people call it. You know, I held Bitcoin for 7 years before I started pulling profit on that. You know, it's just one of those things where you become part of the family, you know, and it kind of feels like a betrayal in a way if you start, you know, selling on your community, you know, kind of everything that the community has worked to build and put so much effort and hours into, and you turn around and kind of undercut that in a way. It's just not, it doesn't sit right with me. So to answer your question, yeah, at times, seeing my portfolio swing, you know, it was a bit of, you know, got my stomach turning. But in the bigger picture, I don't think, you know, my portfolio has met, you know, its all-time high. So with that in mind, you know, it was relatively easy, you know, playing the long game. Everybody knows in crypto, you know, long-term holders always make the money. And with the case of Shiba Inu, I put an amount of money into it that I could lose. And, you know, that grew into something substantial. And yes, that's life-changing money. But, you know, with Shiba Inu, if I was to start ripping, as you've seen other SHIB whales sell, you know, it does impact the price substantially. It doesn't really do any major setbacks, but just to kind of put it in perspective, in November, if I was to dump my bag on Uniswap, I would essentially drained all liquidity in Uniswap with the exception of $5 million, to kind of put that in perspective. So think about the impact that would have had on all the projects on that swap. You know, obviously, you know, you can transfer to exchanges and sell there, but it kind of, I don't know that I'd be able to sleep well at night, you know, knowing that, you know, I've dumped on my, you know, fellow friends and family, you know, in that project. You know, there was a time very early on that, you know, I was looking at the numbers and I was just thinking like, damn, like this is generational money. But I've done quite well in a lot of other areas, you know, in the crypto space, you know, projects that have been around longer, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I'm not hurting for money. You know, I live comfortably and I'm able to achieve everything that I want to achieve. And, you know, it's easy to hold, you know, it's real easy to also destroy a project. So that was kind of my reasoning on that. You know, I've had some of my friends that invested early on, and you know, they pulled and, you know, they paid their tax and moved on. Still hold a small bag, but I don't know that I'd be able to sleep well at night if I started ripping real hard. You know, I mean, I kind of prize myself, and although that, you know, there are people in the space that actually know me and know who I am, other than, you know, my handle is Shibtoshi. But I would feel like I'd be betraying a lot of people in a way. You know, I've held a lot of projects to zero, you know, when I've been up substantial amounts. It's just kind of my mentality, man, to answer your question. So if you have a follow-up, go ahead and drop that and I'll touch on it.
No follow-up, man. That one came from Adam. That was a great question. It just kind of provides some deeper insight into the mind behind you and why you move the way you move. So questions like that, I always love asking.
Yeah, that definitely was a great question. With that being said, I was wondering if it'd be possible if you could unmute the Huntsman. The Huntsman's a longtime personal friend of mine, and I always try to get him on AMAs if that's possible.
I can't see. I'm so sorry. I can't see any hand. Oh, I see two hands up, but they've been up the whole time, and I'm pretty sure they're bugged. But the Huntsman, if you are in here, try to raise your hand, and I'll see if I can get you unmuted. I know after about 500 guys, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Like nothing's changing here, guys. So I apologize, Shivtoshi, that we won't be able to get him unmuted.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
But I'm sure he appreciates the shout out in any case. Now, guys, I know we're kind of running out of time here, but I did want to throw it back over in your court. If there was anything else that you guys wanted to leave us off with or highlight before we go today, please feel free. The floor is all yours.
I think I'm good. You guys.
Yeah, guys. I mean, essentially, everybody knows the sentiment in the space. It's been negative, and what we're trying to do here at SquidGrow is turn that around. Give everybody a peace of mind when they go to sleep at night. Knowing that their investment's not going to disappear. Obviously, we can't control our investors and what they choose to do with their money. But there's definitely not going to be any malicious activity on my team's part. Liquidity is locked, and we're making all the moves. And just to kind of highlight, how strongly I believe in my project, I've poured more personal money into the project than we have in liquidity. From exchange listings to utilities to marketing to buybacks. I mean, I believe in my project 100%. And I just kind of wanted to point that out. I am the owner of the project, and I fully support and believe in what it is that we are achieving here, and it's backed by my personal money. And I think that should give investors a peace of mind. That the owner of the project is pouring his own money into the project to help it succeed and grow. And also,
it goes back to that saying, like, put your money where your mouth is, and it sounds like you guys are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, another thing, I'd like to highlight, my team is fully reachable. We respond to DMs all the time from community members, whether it's just questions or whether they're just wanting to talk or, kind of dig a little bit. We're always accessible. I mean, it's kind of rare in projects, in my opinion, unless you're like some big whale, that you actually have a direct line of contact with not only the owner, but the rest of the team. Majority of the time those DMs go unread, and I go through my messages once a day and respond to the messages. And, I've developed some pretty cool friendships. My boy MJ, I saw him on here. We did an AMA with him, and, he reached out and we talked daily, on a very personal level. And, I'd like to say, I consider him a friend. But those are the types of things you can look forward to, at SquidGrow. So I encourage everybody to just pop into the TG, even if you don't have plans to invest. Get to know the community, get to know the team, ask your questions, they'll be answered. Just stop by and say hello. I mean, we're doing pretty cool things over here at SquidGrow, and I'm relentless with what I'm achieving, with what I'm trying to achieve here. And with the help of Dane and the rest of the team and the community, man, this project's not even getting going yet.
I mean, you guys are set up to be a potential powerhouse in this space with everything that's building so far. It just feels like a pressure cooker that's about to explode. I'm super excited for you guys. And honestly, man, it's been great chatting with you. It's been great finding out more than just what's at the the face value of the website and the white paper, and just spending some time in the Telegram. It's been awesome just to chat with you and get some deeper insight into who you guys are, as well as what the project, what your plans are for the project. It's been awesome, man.
It's one of the coolest AMAs,
It's always a pleasure doing AMAs with you, Gollum. I think I've done a few, and you're number one for a reason, man. So we appreciate your time and talking with us. It's been great.
It's been pleasure's all mine, guys, by far. And one more time for their Telegram group, guys, find the latest Gollum's Gyms post. Right in there is the link to their portal. Fill out the CAPTCHA. You'll hop right in, get a firsthand look at how vibrant this community is, at how active and passionate they are. Words really don't describe it. You got to do a firsthand experience, or visit their website and check out their really cool website on here, SquidGrow.wtf. Again, you can find all the links in their main Telegram. So hit that portal, fill out the CAPTCHA, and get a firsthand look at this. But thank you guys once again, Shibtoshi, Dane, Arda. Appreciate you guys hopping on with me and spending this last hour with us.
Thank
It
you
was a
so
pleasure.
much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone.
And for everybody listening in, that does it for today's show. One of the hottest communities in the space right now. And if you're not in the Telegram, you have to go experience it firsthand. So make sure you jump in with Shibtoshi and his stacked team and ask any questions you may still have. And I know even if they don't answer directly, their community will jump in right away. Amazing stuff coming out of not only the team, but their seemingly everyone community. Really looking forward to these guys breaking through new levels and redefining the meme coin space. As always, guys, we'll be announcing the winners of the giveaway very shortly. Make sure you jump on Twitter and dive into these awesome crypto discussions that we've been having at Gollum's Gyms. And thanks once again for tuning in, everyone. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.